Hi, Rain. How are you? Whoa! Definitely didn't drop my mic or anything. How are you doing on this lovely Sunday evening? We're playing some Final Fantasy V. I know it's not Soma Sunday today, but yesterday was Final Fantasy V's 33rd anniversary of its original release in Japan. So I actually really wanted to play it yesterday, but I had to work at Job, and I felt tired and exhausted, so I prioritized taking care of myself. Maddie, hi. Migraine meds have kicked in. Awesome. Very glad to hear it. But yeah, when we left off last time, Galuf had gone off to another world using the teleportation device in the meteor. Hi, Guru. How are you doing this evening? Or I guess, like, morning for you? Yo, Rain in here streaking. Love to see it. 15 stream streak. That's crazy. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out so often. Getting out thumbnails for commission. Wanted to get it done during the weekend, but my body checked out. I understand that. Supporting my friends, and I love it. I appreciate it so much. Tycoon Meteorite. He's ready to go to a whole new world. A whole new world. This is the second day friend stream that I'm watching. My friends keep giving me content. I am spoiled. A hole. Well, this hole is supposed to do something, I thought. You know, I'm realizing with my ADHD, I really need to, after I wrap up the games I'm in the middle of, I think I really need to become one of those streamers who does one game at a time. This whole is something to do something. The very first game ends. Honestly, though, I think gay has been a thing since humans have existed. Caveman BL. Caveman just discovering, like, being bi or pan for the first time, just like, Cog feel warm about boy, same way feel about girl. Hi, Gusty. How are you doing today? This wonderful Sunday afternoon. Probably Monday morning for you. Maybe, or no, it'd be like really late at night. Time zones, everybody. Whoopee, hi. Gay and trans have been around for freaking ever. Yeah, like, honestly, as long as there's been humans, it's pretty much been a thing. How are you doing today, Whoopee? We're playing some Final Fantasy V just in time for Final Fantasy V's 33rd anniversary, which was technically yesterday. Also, it's past 1 a.m. Okay, I guess it is tomorrow morning for you. Good thing none of my friends ever sleep. Man is pretty like woman bog confused. No, Google, I do not want to use AI mode. Put the fucking walkthrough from a 15-year-old GameFAQs article in the bag, please. Just laughed at the first caveman femboy. Okay, just chilling after dinner. I missed you a ton. I missed you, Whoopi. I know you're busy in life, reality stuff. You know, it happens and it sucks. And I know we can't always go do the things we want to do and be where we want to be when we want to. I'm not trying to use the walkthrough to, like, do the game or learn everything about it. I'm just using a walkthrough so I actually remember where to go. Random game trivia. Give me just a sec to rack through the brain. After I remember what I'm supposed to be doing on the game. Because, you know, I could have looked that up before starting the stream, but why would I do that? Okay, fly sandworm. Back to go. And the creature appears. You have left me alone all day. We all know reality isn't real. And I hit go live, and now you're in here. I fed you not even an hour ago, you covetous little hussy. She has literally not tried to get into the house in days. A whole hour? That's like several months. Okay, so I guess while I look up this walkthrough, I'm going to go feed this crime doer. Is this a cat? This is, in fact, a cat. It is not my cat. It's a cat that lives near my house. Ugh. You see, the thing is, there's like by the back door in my kitchen, there is a closet, and that closet has a hole in the bottom. And this cat just happens to be skinny enough to where she can come up through the fucking floor if I don't block it off properly. So if I go too long without putting food out, or I don't know if she just feels like being a little punk butt for no reason, she will come up through the floor and come into the house. And despite being a scrawny little tart, she can somehow move whatever I set on the thing. Granted, there are times in the middle of the night where I just feel like the stuff I set on the hole just scraping across the floor. Cats are liquid. Honestly, if she weren't such a butthead, I would probably just adopt her. But the thing is, like, she has no chill in a way that is very destructive. House is the cat's now, that's the rule. Not this cat. Okay, I'm going to go feed the beast, I guess. I'll return in a moment. Lost so many possessions to the void cat, my soul is gone. Cats are like warlock patrons, except you don't get any cool magic powers and instead receive love and affection. And the only thing she loves or has affectionate toward is getting fed. They love and affection are their own kind of magical power. Like those NPCs that glow when they have quests, but you get nothing important. A reward you must get... No, it's like, it's a side quest, but your reward is you just lose money and get more chores. Check something real quick here. We also get a dry leaf for small dead animal. See, she doesn't do anything cute or affectionate like that. She literally just comes in and screams when she wants something. I was in the kitchen. Did you say the gaming fact? No, Whoopi, I didn't get a chance. Because despite not even making an attempt to get into the house for days, as soon as I started streaming the cat that lives outside, did it Antimantoise who beat the Soul Cannon? The cat that lives outside came in and started just hopping up on the desk and trying to knock everything down. So I haven't gotten to say a gaming fact yet, but I'll get there, don't worry. First, I'm looking through the walkthrough trying to make sure I remember where to go. Okay, so apparently we need to go to the meteorites. Hi, Big Kyle. I mean, where is it? Just, what's a little scan? Just a teeny tiny little scan. You know, you think at this point I'd know better to have a redeem that makes me think with my brain? Okay, here's a cool little fun fact. Okay. You know, it's commonly mistaken that a lot of Pokemon are mistaken for being in a different generation than they're actually in. You know, like a lot of people think about Slugma and Skarmory as Gen 3 Pokemon, even though they're in Gold and Silver. But some of these are justified. I personally always felt like Shellos and Gastrodon belonged in Gen 3, and that's because they actually were originally developed for Gen 3. In fact, there are unused back sprites for Shellos and Gastrodon that are different from their final designs in Ruby and Sapphire's data. So they were actually originally designed for Gen 3 and then ended up getting pushed over to Gen 4. Thank you for the fact. You're welcome. I love sharing video game trivia and stuff. Arnak Meteorite. Oh, there's Sid Mid. Quickly.
Come on, Mid.
Yeah.
Gadzooks, it's a den of monsters. You kids can go on ahead.
Yow, that was scary. Yeah, Sid is kind of tucks hair behind ear. Hey, Yoshitaka Amano knew how to draw some old guys. It's a Titan. Who knew we were gonna have to launch an attack on this guy? He party. Time was very kind to him. Wait, what'd that say? Okay, wow, get hosed, I guess. Then I gained a job level. Learned light stat. A Hohoi potion. Received the Summon Monster Titan.
Much obliged. Now you can leave the rest to us. All right, let's get to the next meteorite.
Yeah.
Let me be the one to ride this chocobo.
Saving the game. Mastered? Yo, we got our first job mastery. Mastering jobs is really cool. Not all of them are mastered at level 3, obviously. But when you've mastered a job, because you probably noticed that the Freelancer, which was the job class we started out at the beginning of the game, which doesn't have any of its own innate abilities, it's just attack an item by default. Okay, let's switch Lena to a Freelancer real quick and I'll show you. But the thing is, when you're a Freelancer, you can equip any 2 abilities. Because normally it's the job has 1 default ability. But with Freelancer, you can equip any 2 ability. The cool thing is, with Freelancer, whenever you master a job class, Freelancer inherits that job class's best stats. So the more you master, the more powerful Freelancer becomes. But they don't get any of the weaknesses from any of the other jobs. Like, for example, Black Mages have really high magic stats and stuff, but really low defenses. But so you'll only inherit the high stats as a Freelancer. So the more jobs you master, the more powerful Freelancer eventually becomes. Let's keep working on mastering jobs. She mastered Geomancer. I guess it does kind of have some Twink vibes. Flight time. What, are you gonna, like, go to Starbucks? Listen to Ed Sheeran? Ooh, let's give Chemist a try.
Link.
Like, stop. Colonize a few neighboring countries. Colonizes your land, ooh woo. Commits war crimes and cultural erasure, oh whoa. Actually, I kind of do want to use Gaia. Not wash your legs, ew. Look, you want to draw a Twinkie acrobat now? Invade countries in that one scene like in Camp Rock 2. What the hell's going on in the Camp Rock movies? Got my main Gucci on. Beret, ninja suit. You know, I think I'll take the defense penalty and equip the Elven Mantle, because that's pretty cracked. Have to watch the scene. I do like Bartz as a monk. I think he's got learning as his second ability, so he can still learn blue magic. Spellblade. Okay, I like Ferris and Bartz, how they are for now. Oop. At Camp Rock, you enlist to World War III. Camp Rock is where high schoolers enlist the army go to. I don't know why, but that just made me think about how, like, some, like, RPGs from, like, the late 90s and early 2000s seemed to give characters an age that was, like, incompatible with their backstory. You know, like, you'd have somebody who's, like, a 12-year veteran mercenary or something, and his canonical age is like 17. It's something I used to call arbitrary anime aging, where they age the characters to be the age of the target audience, not necessarily an age that makes any sense in canon.
Wait right here.
Be right back. They've been inside for quite some time, don't you think? We'd better go check on them. Quickly. Help! Yeah, help us! Amandacore! Baby girl, you're so Amandacore. Oh, fuck, shit, balls, fuck. I think we might be in trouble. Amanda, why are you doing this? Amanda, please. Okay. I think I'm screwed. Uh-oh. Shit. Did I save after the Gaia fight? The Titan fight, I mean. Okay, yes, she's a chemist. Okay. Let's go ahead and equip her Elven Mantle. I like Faris as a ninja with Spellblade, though. Let's go ahead and... This bodes well. 5-guy fight, fast food restaurant.
So, you ever had Five Guys?
Oh yeah, in college once.
I never took you as the fast food type.
We're talking about food? My controller cord's caught in my mic cord. It's like that Star Wars meme, yes. Okay, nothing against this time, Amanda. Sword, thunder, power, sleep, card, captors of the cloud, expect the unexpected now. Oh, to eat 5 guys. Well, shit. Yeah, it's using water attacks. Of course it would absorb ice. Okay, I think we're gonna need more than one healer. Why would you do that? Get a northern. Listen, it's not adultery if everybody involved agrees to it. Getting this kind of sneaking suspicion, I might need to level up the homies just a little bit before taking on Amanda. I think adultery would be pretty small. Like Polly, as long as everyone agrees it's not cheating. Something with beating 5 guys. I don't want to just turn... I didn't want to just turn Lena back into a white mage, but that probably is the play, sadly. Okay, I'll be right back. Ah, there's a town. Sweet. It's tool time. Tool time, you'll love it, just like Lao. Cube. Go into the inn and take a cute little sleepy nap. You've been stabbed, beaten, burned, broken, no matter what it is, as long as you get a good night's sleep, you'll be fine the next morning. Except your knees. Your knees will hate you forever. Stand too much, your knees are fucked up. Sit too much, your knees are fucked up. Walk too much, your knees are fucked up. Fuck knees. A Polly Pocket, a doll tree, life is magical. Gundam 0080 Polly in the pocket. Is there no regular item shop here? That's just regular. Sorry, we can't have pros coming around and spooking the rookies. Hiya! Damn, she literally kicked me out of there. Into the fucking trees! One time I was on my knees organizing my suitcase, and because I got bruises on them, I spent the entire day dreading that people get the wrong idea.
Nothing left. The pirates drank everything in the house.
Hello, Green Hat.
I'm not looking at anything. You perv, get your mind out of the gutter.
Why don't you have a seat, big boy? Just keep your eyes on me. I have to play the piano. For you, honey, we've got something special. Read organizing wrong for a moment. Oh, my fear has come true. Woo! Oh, she's still going. Well, bye, I guess. Ooh, wait. There we go. Let's put Ferris in front to make this more lesbiab. My girl Ferris getting a 3-woman lap dance. Oh, you guys have fun. Medieval GTA. 5 guys is out, 3 women is in. Listen, I don't discriminate. I guess there's just no regular item shop here, damn. Doesn't save. So we're all in on eating 5 guys? I feel like you get lockjaw after a while. Every video game character can be argued to be bi-pan, but the whole party in this game is canonically bi-pan. I mean, I guess so. I mean, we've got at least one gender-fluid character. Okay, there's the pube. There's the inn. Is the item shop in the inn? There's the magic shop, where you can buy canes. Oh, there it is. Okay, no, I already bought a shit ton of everything. Damn, wait, am I actually gonna have to play the game? Well, fuck. Both Bartz and Galuf had a crush on Ferris only when they thought she was a man's. You know what? Got me there. Oh, I got lost. There's the dessert. Okay. Let me take a look at my job classes real quick, see what I got. Ability. Magic hammer. See, the big problem I have fighting the freaking Amanda Core is that, like, think this through here. Okay. Speed of its attack, tickets for allies. Thing is, so many of its attacks just hit multiple targets. And most of my defensive abilities protect against, like, physical moves. Doing a big time brain thing here. There's a town, like, right beside this meteor. Yeah, he's helping the other directions. Up close enough. Bum 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 bum. Down through here, back down through the desert, a river in a dry land. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can do this without Amanda kicking our ass this time. Yeah! Dong! How dare you? Go, Lena, go forth and bounce on that thing. Let's go. Shit. Damn it. No! Shit. That misclick is gonna cost me. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to just let this one go. Okay. No, wait, shit. Ugh. Okay, Because the thing is, I think I'm gonna need to use Time Magic to cast Slow on it, because I think the problem isn't just the damage output, it's the fact that it gets like 2 or 3 turns by the time any of my characters get to move. Amanda's so rude and impatient. Why is she like this? Get slowed. Hell yeah. Haste yourself. Oh, shit. I got too hasty. Yo! We did it! Commission thumbnails mad that it didn't take me that long, but that headache yesterday was not being kind to me. Dude, even the easiest task when your head hurts can feel like you're being, like, crunched around a freaking thingamabob. That didn't even make sense. Come on. Are you alright? We are now.
That was close. Alright, let's get to the next meteorite.
Yeah. Don't worry, it made sense to me. Oh shit, it's it. Act natural, everyone. Act big naturals. Thingamabob killed my grandma, okay. You know, it's funny to think that the voice of that character is the same person who did that, like, I'm bringing sexy back, you know, the Duke Devlin song? Act natural on Sid's Big Naturals. I can't help but think of that one picture that became a meme, where it's the girl just, like, side-eyeing the dude, and it's, like, his massive chest titty is in frame. See, the funny thing is, like, Ryota, aka, like, Ryuji, excuse me, slash Duke Devlin, in the manga, his backstory is, like, actually super tragic and depressing, and they turned him into a spoiled rich kid in the anime, and that's always irritated me. That's us and Sid. There's one in Karnak. Is the Tycoon one the last one, or is that the first one we did? Whatever, if I find a meteor, I'm just gonna go to it and figure it out. I think we did this one already. Okay, that's the one that had the town beside it. That's what got me confused. Okay, okay. Also, when I first played this game when I was younger, when it came out in North America on PS1... Oh, here, let me whack these goblins real quick. Okay, I thought the meteor had a tail. I mean, obviously that's just because it made an impact and it left a little crater there, but I always thought it had a tail. Also, I guess random fun bonus fact. Okay, Final Fantasy V and 6 originally came out for Super Famicom in Japan, and 6 got a North American release on the Super NES, but Final Fantasy V didn't. Okay, after Final Fantasy VII and Square moved all their stuff exclusively to PlayStation, they actually re-released all of the like NES, Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy games on PlayStation 1. Well, they were actually developed by Tosei, but regardless, So the first time Final Fantasy V ever got released in North America was that PS1 version. They actually had a bundle with Final Fantasy VI called Final Fantasy Anthology. And the thing is, there are a lot of really interesting Easter eggs in, like, the menus and stuff, because the PS1 versions of 5 and 6 have a unique memory card screen. It's not anything super special. It's usually a black background. It'll have, like, one of the character sprites walk around and do little animations while you click through the menus. Usually it's just one of the regular characters from the game, like the party members. But in the, there's a very low % chance in Final Fantasy V on PS1, when you're doing the memory card, it'll be a Final Fantasy V-ified version of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Like, with his own unique set of sprite animations and everything. And Final Fantasy VI, they actually did a Final Fantasy VI version of Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. That shows up on there occasionally. And I always thought that was really cool as a kid. If it had a tail, it'd be called a Meowdy, right? Get real. So I guess you guys got another free game fact. Oops. I mean, that one's not exactly super difficult or anything. Oh, hey, 7th, how you doing today? We're celebrating Final Fantasy V's 33rd anniversary, which is technically yesterday, by playing some Final Fantasy V. We're going to Meteorites, and Sid and Mid are, doing cool technical stuff, so we can hopefully teleport to Gallif's world. Because right now it's just Bartz and the Pink Hair Sisters. How are you doing today on this wonderful Sunday evening, 7th? But yeah, I actually grew up with, like, the anthology versions of 5 and 6 is kind of like... Well, I had 6 on the Super NES, but I have, like... Oh boy, I've got, like, a whole story arc of things that happened with this freaking game. I don't know if I've ever actually told it on stream. I think I've told this to Maddie and our Kyle before. But I don't think I've ever told this story on stream. Okay. Good here. Hope everyone else is having a great day / evening. It's been pretty alright for me. I actually got to spend the day chilling and relaxing. But okay, with Final Fantasy VI. Should go to bed, need to get up early tomorrow, yucky. Have a good rest of stream, cuties. Hopefully my dulcet tones and random game trivia can lull you into a nice comfy eep. I hope your blankies are warm, and I hope your sleep is that kind where you wake up in the morning and you've been in the same position all night. But, okay, so, the first RPG I ever really had was Super Mario RPG, which, like, I was, like, when I was little, it was, like, I basically existed for, like, Mario and Sonic and Mega Man. And some other stuff like Bubsy and Earthworm Jim. Like, I was all about, like, the 2D platformers and stuff. But of course I got Mario RPG because it was a video game that had Mario on it. And I was a little confused at first, but one of my friend's older brother, he really liked RPGs, and he kind of explained to me the whole thing with, like, turn-based combat and stuff, so I really liked Mario RPG. And there was somebody that my mom would, like... I've mentioned before, she had quite a few side jobs because she was one person with one income, taking care of a child and all the other stuff that comes along with being a grown adult with nobody to help you. So, you know, there was somebody she knew who had, like, this very large house. And Mom would occasionally stop by and help just maintenance and take care of it. Not a maid, but, you know, just, like, general stuff. Also house sit because the lady was a little kooky and a little paranoid. So she always thought that someone was going to try to rob her, even though it never happened. Where the hell is that other meteorite? But, so, but she also had a son that was, like, maybe 7 or 8 years older than me. let me see. I don't know, he wasn't quite in his 20s yet, but, you know, he was into RPGs, but more in the, like, Elder Scrolls and Diablo kind of way. But he still liked Final Fantasy and stuff. And he had Final Fantasy VI. And, you know, he let me play it, and I, like, got super into it, because it was, like, so different from anything else I'd ever played. And I had brought a few of my Super Nintendo games over because Mom had mentioned that he had a Super Nintendo, and you know, like the guy even said, "Oh, you know, oh yeah, if your kid comes over, they can play my Super Nintendo. I don't care," because he had gotten more into PC gaming, so he didn't really mess with his Super Nintendo very much. So, you know, like I got super into Final Fantasy VI. And he was like, you know, I never did get to play Super Mario RPG. You know, like, how about, you know, I'll loan you Final Fantasy VI and you loan me Mario RPG and we'll trade them back when we both finish the game. So I'm like, okay. So I was super excited to have Final Fantasy VI to take home with me. And then I didn't see him again for like 4 years. And eventually I started playing Magic the Gathering in like the late 90s / early 2000s, sometime around Invasion Block, like 7th edition. And, you know, like the place I went to play cards, he also frequented, and, you know, once again, being kind of a more Western fantasy RPG kind of enthusiast, he liked Magic a lot. And so he's like, oh, hey, Micaiah. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, and I was like, just, this is totally random, but could I have Mario RPG back? And he's like, I have no idea where it is. I'm like, huh. Like, yeah, I lost it. I'm sorry. And he's like, but you can just keep Final Fantasy. And I'm like, okay. Alright, I wanted to get Ferris that job level. She was really close. We're just whacking gorillas. But, so I got to keep Final Fantasy VI. But this wasn't just any copy of Super Nintendo Final Fantasy VI. This was a 1.0 print run copy. And the thing is, with the North American 1.0 print run of Final Fantasy VI, it's a little bit glitchy. Because anyone familiar with those glitches will know the implications of the fact that I really wanted to use Realm on my party. I mean, she was a cute girl, and she was an artist. It was perfect, basically. So anyway, I used Realm's sketchability on, like, everything, which, if you use it on certain enemy sprites, funny things will happen to your game in the 1.0 version. I'm not 100% sure what causes it, but it's something to do with, like, overwriting things into the wrong RAM address or something. Like I said, I have to look it up. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on any of the causes. But yeah, I mean, like, at first, it was like a big party because, like, holy shit, what's an economizer? I have 50 of these, or 99 of these or whatever, and it lets everybody use any spell for 1 MP, and I had, like, 100 stacks of 255 Dirks, which I sold all of, so I basically had infinite money. I mean, sure, that whole glitch thing with the party, you know, someone turning into Esper Terra and somebody turning into General Leo and somebody turning into a corrupted square was weird and kind of scared me a little bit as a kid. See, I encountered Missingno before I ever even played Pokemon. But, you know, I got all these free items and stuff. I thought I'd found, like, a secret in the game or something. I actually, at first, when it happened, since one of my characters turned into General Leo, I thought I had found a way to, like, get General Leo on the party. We all become squares sometimes. Tip to be square. But, yeah, so my cartridge had the sketch glitch, because it was a 1.0.
the game mistakenly tries to load data from a place it really shouldn't. Yeah, and the thing is, since it was only upsides from as far as I can tell, I started doing it intentionally. And every time I'd play through the game, I'd do the sketch glitch again to get all the dirks and all the stuff, and I told my friends about it. And it killed the game's save battery. So it wouldn't save anymore. And and a few years, probably 3 or 4 years after that, there was another friend who, like, they had a workbench, they had solder, and they had like the safety bit screws and stuff like that. So I left my Final Fantasy cartridge with him, and he said he should be able to replace the battery. You know, he like knew a friend who did it, and they gave him like a tutorial, and he had solder. Like, he had bought solder for other stuff, but he knew how to do this. You know, he's like, I never really done it, and I'm like, well, I know, but the game doesn't work anyway, and I already have my PS1 version. So like, even if the cartridge messes up, I wouldn't be happy about that, but at least I can still play 6 on the PS1. And he's like, so I gave it to him to take care of, and he got robbed. And they stole my Final Fantasy VI cartridge. Some could say you become a Square Enix. Hi Cole, how are you doing on this lovely Sunday afternoon? Horrible luck with games at that time. Not games, that one game. And Mario RPG, I guess. But I mean, like, yeah, whoa. Yeah, so that copy of Final Fantasy VI had a fucking adventure, that's for sure. However, there is the fact that now I have Final Fantasy VI on PS1, I've got my GBA copy, and I have a Super NES Classic, which has both the Super NES versions of Mario RPG and Final Fantasy VI. I bought both games on Wii Virtual Console when they were available. So, like, I've got Final Fantasy VI, and I've got Super Mario RPG. I may not have Super Nintendo cartridges of them, but they're available to me to play anytime I want to. So I really didn't lose anything in the long run. That copy's as cursed as the Wizard of Oz franchise. A part of me, like, secretly believes I might just end up stumbling across it again someday. Remember Final Fantasy VI being a super late Virtual Console release? Yeah, they put the, believe it or not, they put the, like, really weird censored baby version of Final Fantasy IV on there for purchase. They even had the Super Nintendo version of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest were on Virtual Console. Because I do actually have the Virtual Console version of Chrono Trigger as well. Which I think is the last Wii Shop Channel game I bought. Okay, everybody take a sippy of your non-caffeinated, sugar-free beverage of choice. I got my water tumbler right here. Hydrate or dihydrate. I had Chrono Trigger 2, won it on a forum contest. That's crazy. Though I actually didn't play the Super NES version of Chrono Trigger until I got it on Wii Virtual Console. The aforementioned friend's older brother, I watched him play it a little bit on Super NES, and I remember reading about it in Nintendo Power, and it seemed really cool. And that's probably why I was interested in playing Final Fantasy VI when I realized the dude had it, because I had read about, like, Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger and other stuff in Nintendo Power. Because they had Epic Center. I feel like Seventh Force is probably the only person where it's going to mean anything to. I remember they had, like, the previews for Star Ocean 1 and Tales of Phantasia. Like the, ooh, will it get localized for the United States? Ooh, there's another Secret of Mana. It's only in Japan. And I'm like, hydrate. It's crazy to me that as popular as the Tales series is, they've even admitted that some of the remasters are selling better internationally than they are in Japan. As big as the Tales series is, the only version of Tales of Phantasia that's been released outside of Japan is the objectively worst version of the game. Well, second worst. The mobile version runs better and looks better, but it has its difficulty is cranked up beyond the maximum of any other version, and you have to use in-game currency to continue if you get a game over. So the mobile version's technically the worst, but it's like a 2010, 2011 mobile game. Like really janky touch controls. But yeah, like, the GBA version is the only version of Tales of Phantasia that's ever been released outside Japan, which is crazy. Walsh Meteorite.
Wait here.
Leave it to us. 2010 Japanese mobile games are the worst. It's like the weird predatory bullshit that they tried to squeeze into there is so gross.
That's that.
Okay, let's hurry. Yeah, there wasn't a monster in this one. God fucking damn it. Remember the mobile version? I think it had a new script. I think the script in the mobile version was better, but that's not a high bar.
Sid, mid, look out!
Somebody set us up the bomb. Shit. I will kick them all. Maybe. Robotos. Why are none of you attacking? I am afraid. Arise. A decent Tales game. Yum. I grew up on the fan translation with the Arch line. The bar is pretty much in hell. Dude, okay, I know this is a fan translation that's literally 24 years old, but the Japs fan translations, Dayjop, I have no idea how to pronounce that username, but their fan translations still piss me off to this day. You've probably seen me talking to her a few times, 7th Force, Froglord on Twitter. I keep trying to, like, subtly push her to move to Blue Sky, but I think most of her Japanese friends she talks to on there are still on Twitter. So that's why she's kind of staying there. God fucking damn it. I heard her eyes. Is the mid-bite... Oh, I'm sorry, that's the username of... It is the username of the freaking person... This is from, like, 2001. That did some of the fan translations was DEJAP. And I never mean it that way. Like, I'm just... Because I realized how awful that sounded when it freaking came out of my mouth. But yeah, I'm very sorry.
Bruh.
I mean, I'm not offended, it's just funny how I froze while eating an onigiri. Okay, well, bye, I guess.
You alright?
That was awesome.
It's all 4 meteorites. Now let's take a look at this map.
Or the little thingamabobbers are thingamabobbying into the thing. See where all the energies from the 4 meteorites intersect? That's the warp point! Now get over there!
Be careful.
The American equivalent is of white persons eating a hamburger and out of North here cracker. Only reason I played it was because there's a way to play it in English. Oh no, it's like we didn't know better back then. Keep in mind, that was... Okay, the problem I have with DJAP is that, like, you can very clearly that his number one influence was working designs. And, like, I know working designs has been dead and buried, but it's just, like, my attitude toward working designs is very much the, Spider-Man sitting there with, like, you know, that one illustration of Spider-Man sitting in a chair leaning back, like, with his fingers touching? You know, it's like, I very much have beef with the company equivalent of a dead man. The damage that working designs did in the long term to not only localization, but the perception of localization has not been undone in over 3 decades. Thanks for everything, guys. See where all the energies of all 4... Okay, just repeat it. Quickly. Okay, well, let's go to the inn and heal everybody, because they're all fucking unconscious from the explodey bombs.
Because, like, it irritates me that the closest that any English version of Lunar has really gotten to being to the Japanese version is Lunar Legend on GBA, because it was localized by Ubisoft. And its localization can be flat and kind of literal, but, like, the toxic shards of working designs localization practices still, like, infect every English version of the Lunar games. Even in slight little bits. Like, there are, even in, like, the much better localizations, like the PSP version, there's still, like, little jokes that definitely aren't there in the Japanese version. Again, like, I'm one of those people who've, like, if there's a joke in the Japanese version, okay, my opinion on this, I call it the Anna Nicole centerfold. Because if you've ever watched Fooly Cooly, in the Japanese version, Naota's grandpa tells Conti to go to the convenience store and pick him up a nudie mag, and he mentions one with a centerfold of a famous Japanese, like, idol. I don't remember which one, I apologize. But in the English version, because, let's face it, most people watching it in English are not going to know a Japanese celebrity off the top of their head, especially in, like, 2001 when the thing was localized. He says, you know, like,
Bring me the one with the Anna Nicole centerfold.
Instead of saying the centerfold of the Japanese celebrity. And, like, that's the kind of localization I'm okay with. Because this is already a cultural joke, but the other culture's not going to get it. Like, yeah, fine, it's sticking on a more contextual joke if something literally won't translate well. Especially with the Japanese language's incredible in-depth legacy of puns and wordplay. If you want to maintain some kind of wordplay without having to have a big explanation pop up on the screen, you know, like another Keikaku means plan kind of thing, then the way to go about it is you probably have to rewrite a lot of the scene. And yeah, sometimes you end up with something like Cowderpea, but... you know, like, stuff like that doesn't bother me. It's rewriting character personalities and story elements from whole cloth Because, like, I've mentioned this before, I think, but to me, Working Design's localizations are like trying to pass an abridged series off as the official product. But there's no other option for, like, another version of the product. It irritates me because the current Luna remasters... Yeah, oh, Ace Attorney's localizations are fantastic. So fantastic that I think the all-girl group, I think they're called Takakura Review. I know their stage play version of Ace Attorney, actually uses the English localized names. Which I don't know if that's like a rights thing, but I do think it's interesting that they made that choice. Ace Attorney localizations are fantastic. They are. Like, it's the high bar for me. Because, like, I just can't stand not only, like, putting jokes where there are none, but, like, the English dub writer trying to insert their own thoughts or whatever on the property into the thing when said things are not in the original Japanese. Alexander O. Smith, he worked on the first game and he worked on Apollo Justice. I think he still, like, contributed elements to the other two in the original trilogy. Gosh, there's a woman who mostly did the other two games in the trilogy, and she was pretty much the head of localization for a lot of pretty much everything else, like the Investigations games, the 3DS trilogy. No, that's not a trilogy, it's two of them, but you know what I mean. Janet Sue, yeah. Janet Sue was like the big figurehead, but like Alexander O. Smith, I do believe, did the first one and Apollo Justice. Okay, into the warp point. The light's fading. There's not much power left from the meteorites. No turning back now. One-way trip, huh? You guys sure about this? We probably won't be able to come back home. It doesn't matter. This is more important. Aye, we're in this till the bitter end. Alright then, let's go! I suppose this is goodbye to our world. Farewell, Chancellor. Buck up, mateys. I know you can handle the looting and pillaging without me. Be good while I'm gone, Boko. Don't get into too much trouble. This is Galuf's world. Go no go go. Oh, dang! Galuf's world is really small. A pow. New jump level. Chakra. Got it sent. Shall we put up a tent and rest for a while? Yeah, what if he ran around in circles and just like got infinite tents? Oh, look at the night version of the freaking background. Oh my gosh, this looks so pretty. Unlimited tent works. Doesn't this look kind of like a turtle? It's like got its legs all just spread in every direction. It's a sleeping turtle. It just like flopped down on the bed. Yep, we're gonna celebrate Final Fantasy V's 33rd anniversary by grinding up to 99 tents. I'm kidding. Getting a few extras doesn't hurt. Then, there's something I've been wondering about. It was way back when you were on North Mountain. Why'd you risk your life just to save that Drake? Sister? Do you remember Mother? Eh? A little. Whenever I see Hiryu, I'm reminded of her. How do you mean? Monster! Look out! Lena! Ferris! Really wish I had my GBA copies of these. Need to buy them again. Dude, the GBA copies are so good. Well, I think like Dawn of Soul, like the 1 and 2, 5 and 6 are good. Final Fantasy 4 on GBA is kind of a mess. Because it was hastily ported from the WonderSwan Color version, so it is full of bugs, glitches, and weird graphical oversights. I mean, it's still the way I beat Final Fantasy 4 for the first time, but shit. Abductor. Yeah, no kidding. Ah, same. Well, I never had Super NES Final Fantasy IV. I did have the PS1 version with Chrono Trigger, but it is easily, like, the worst of the PS1 Super Nintendo ports. Like, the load times are miserable. I could take or leave it these days, given the PSP version and all. Okay, this is like my weird hot take with Final Fantasy IV. I'm really not a fan of the graphical presentation of the PSP version. It's weird because Final Fantasy IV keeps getting ported and remastered, and none of the versions of the game really do it for me. Like, they've all got some issue or another that just makes me like, eh. Because I know, like, the PSP version of 4 is the fan favorite. But hey, the PSP version lets you remap confirm to the circle button even on the North American version, so that's pretty cool. Gas! I can't feel my legs. What? Where are we? Where to be and then, ugh, gas!
Welcome to my castle.
Exdeath? Lord Exdeath! Gelf and the others have made it to Big Bridge.
Fortuitous timing. Prepare the giant mirror.
Yes, my lord.
Perhaps I should thank you. You are about to become quite useful to me.
So he passed out a stinky toot in a box, specifically. Bart's, look, up in the sky.
A bird? No, wait, that's our reflections.
Ah, gross. Game 0 out of 10 delete.
Grandpa, look! It's Lena Ferris. What in blazes is going on? That's far enough, Galuf. One more step, and they die. Hell's bells. Everyone fall back. Gilgamesh. Sir. Watch them. See they don't try anything. Exdeath! You! Ugh. Ah! Krill, I'm borrowing your Winddrake. Bots and the others need my help. Release the Winddrake. Yes, sir!
I look at Exdeath without hearing that one quote, sanity not included. It's like, I am you, you are me. Dude, let's touch dicks.
Thanks, boy. Now go back to Krilly, okay?
I can't keep her name pronunciation consistent. I know it's Kururu in Japanese, but I have no idea how that spelling is really supposed to be pronounced.
So, this is the place.
Received Bart's items and the crystal shards.
Bots, Lena, Ferris. Hold on. I'm coming.
Oh, I'm playing as Galuf. I'll probably switch him to a job besides White Mage. Actually, Geomancers kind of serve to be the secret goat in this game, so even White Magic is a backup. Fair, I actually think it looks weirder than 1 and 2's PSP ports, but having the advanced content and the Super NES music pushes it over the edge for me. I can understand that. Sorry, I got wrapped up in the cutscene. I had to catch up on chat for a second. Castle Axe stuff. It's locked. Maddie, are you there? Oh, thank you, Rain, for once again cutting a worthless object. Stealing Maddie's kill.
Sonic Boom!
That did jack shit. Yep, this probably wasn't the best job choice, Rip. Leaving. I was distracted. It's all good. Rain was here to perform a murder in your name. Bot's pretty common these days. They seem to be common in smaller streams that are like under 100 followers. Let's try Samurai. Zenny Nage. I'm too broke to want to throw money around. Because, like, you know, most of my friends I hang out with and stuff like, you know, Kubia and stuff, they're doing a lurk word vomiting ideas onto a text talk. Nice. Like, I don't really ever see them show up in Kubi's chat. It seems to be, like, mostly a thing to try to scam people with, like, lower viewerships and lower, like, follower numbers. I feel like it's honestly preying on kids, as much as I hate to say it. Because I know there are a lot of kids who love to stream, and, like, you know, they obviously go into it with a dream of being, like, the next Iron Mouse or something like that. Which, like, that makes me hate it even more. Because for me, it's just an annoyance, you know, I get one of my beautiful, lovely, and incredibly attractive mods to brutally murder them in front of everybody, and it's taken care of. But, like, you know, a younger kid probably doesn't have that kind of worldly intelligence. Maybe not start streaming soon, just want you to know ahead of time. Yeah, just basically make sure either you pay attention to it or keep a mod, you know, nearby to let them know to murderize them. Like I said, they're not super common. I'd say maybe I get them once every second or third stream. There's a friend of mine, Sir Seepent, who's in here every once in a while. Like, he was streaming earlier today, and I know one of them showed up in his chat. No, it wasn't today, it was yesterday when he was streaming. He actually didn't get any of them today.
Who goes there? Take this!
So, 7th, 4th streams, that'd be freaking cool as heck. Actually, since you're here, 7th, I wanted to ask you a random thing. I meant to comment on one of your videos and never remember to comment. I was actually legitimately curious with, like, a lot of your, Capcom vs. Legacy videos. When you do Marvel vs. Capcom 2 footage, I noticed you're still using the PlayStation 3, like, 2013 port of Marvel 2, or 2011, 2012, you know, the old part from the PS3. And I actually was curious why you didn't move to using the, Fighting Collection port that came out for, like, Switch and stuff. Or do you just feel like the quality in the 16:9 on that one looks better? They're a lot more frequent with Seepent. I mean, he has, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but, you know, he does have lower follower numbers than me. So I feel like the lower your follower numbers, because I feel like they used to be more frequent in my chat than they are now. Believe it or not, the PS3 port has the best image quality. No, I would believe that, because aside from the additions, you know, it's still 480p, or like 480 for that one, because it's just a flat port of the arcade game. I think the PS3 version's actually in 720p, right?
Take this!
Damn, Galif says, no, I ain't taking anything.
Inconceivable. Well then, that's enough of a beating for you today. Don't step out of line again.
Whenever I stream, they're not as often. There's always at least one every other stream. Sprites are actually properly scaled in that version. Okay, honestly, properly scaled sprites that don't smear or shimmer is a blessing in any port of a game before, like, 2009, so fair enough.
Galuf! Sit tight and I'll have you out of there in a jiffy.
Thanks, old man.
Sorry for messing up your plans. We just wanted... Whatever, I'll verbally berate you later, after we've blown this pop stand.
We got the whole squad back. There's a handful that are slightly jerky, but that's about it. Morrigan's side stance has some jitter, for example. I mean, to be fair, that is a sprite from 1994. It is the sprite that never dies. It'll live beyond all of us through all of time. Society will rust, decay, and be reborn. And there will still be cockroaches and the Morrigan sprite. I kid, but I actually love the original Darkstalkers Morrigan sprite so much. The only thing that makes me sad is that, like, most of her Versus series entries don't have the, like, absolutely batshit insane, like, Looney Tunes level, like, hit stun animations and stuff. I know a little bit of it pops up here and there, but it still seems a little bit muted. Though I do wonder how much of that has to do with Marvel, not wanting some of the, because, like, with Darkstalkers, just a Darkstalkers game or just a Capcom game. You know, Capcom has free reign to do whatever they want with their characters for the most part. But I know with Marvel, I feel like they may not want to they may not want the tone or the violence to go too far in certain directions. Even with non-Marvel characters. I'm bad at finding doors. Though it is crazy to me that, like, the Versus series and other adjacent Versus products have pretty much kept Darkstalkers alive. Technical limitation. Oh, that's right, because all the in-between frames and stuff. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it, like, with the CPS2 boards and stuff, because thinking about it now, even with Marvel 2, you know, stuff like Cyclops walk animation, which you go over in one of your videos, or things like, gosh, I can't think of his name. Silver guy, very large, Russian, Marvel character. Colossus? Yeah, like a bunch of Colossuses in between frames for, like, his throw animation and stuff from stuff like Children of the Atom just aren't there in Marvel 2. I walked up to the stairs and walked away from it. God damn it. I guess it's more that, like, I also kind of lament that Morrigan lost a lot of that in her 3D appearances. Because it's funny, like, a lot of Morrigan fan art always has her, like, you know, doing something super sexy or in a really hot pose. And hey, I got nothing against those fan arts. But it's funny that in, like, her source material game, she's basically, like, big booby version of Bugs Bunny. Just, like, literally causing problems and getting into T for teen comic mischief. Goofy as hell. It's wonderful. I do love that they bring that part of her out more in Project Cross Zone. Because in general, the Project Cross Zone games are so fun merely on the fact that, like, you can tell these are games made by people who are just big old nerds for every single video game they're referencing. So one of my favorite little bits from Project Cross Zone was the implication because, they get transported all around time and space to fight in different arenas from different games, was Tronbon looking at some of the stuff from, like, a spaceship they ended up on, like a big sci-fi spaceship, and saying that it was ancient technology, and basically the implication that Xenosaga happened at some point in the Mega Man Legends timeline. Mineuchi! Another one of my favorite bits, since Phoenix and Maya are in Project Cross Zone 2, Majima recognizes Phoenix because at some point Majima hired him to get him out of a murder case. Yeah, that was so, like, that actually made me laugh, because, like, that's just so absolutely something I could see happening. That and just, like, all of the fighting game universe characters from, like, Tekken, Virtua Fighter, and Street Fighter just being aware of each other, and they're like, oh yeah, you're from the Iron Fist tournament.
Whoa, better not let them see me.
Dun 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 dun. I love that the movie star characters in various fighting game series just know each other. Yeah. Save point. Ominous. Okay, so that's the save. That's probably the right way to go. Locked. Oh, I can just step outside. Like Pi knowing about Ryu and Chun-Li because Fei Long's a fellow Chinese movie star, that kind of stuff. Yes, it's so good. Okay, I guess there's nowhere else to go. I guess I do go outside. Wait a minute, shit, I could have saved at any point in there when I was Galuf and I didn't even think to go in that room. Damn it. Oh well, I mean, I guess I was okay anyway, so no big deal. Devilfish. I guess they're the opposite of an angelfish? Just about said, ew. Wait, the devilfish gave us 666 experience points. That's so good. It's a scary tree. I'm afraid. You know, completely random thing. But like, quick, grab the scary tree soundbite from Wit. Final Fantasy V NE sprite work is so great, it really is. But no, I've always been surprised with like the great relocalization effort from Square in like the PSP GBA era. You know, with like Final Fantasy 1 through 6, the second Stars and the Second Story, you know, like so many of the games that got re-releases got brand new localizations that were much better. Because as much as I love the PS1 era and I love PS1 RPGs, some of the localizations could be a little bit shaky. It was just a product of the time, it was very rushed, and localization was treated like an afterthought a lot of the time. But the thing is, I was always surprised that Final Fantasy VII never got a new localization, especially when that's like the marquee freaking Final Fantasy game. Because like any Final Fantasy VII you buy on like PS4, Xbox One, or PC or Switch or whatever, with a few minor, aside from a few minor dialogue changes, it's literally the same script from 1997. And that's just super weird to me. But then again, it's also kind of weird that of all of the old games from like the pre-PS2 era to get like fully revised editions with extra content, Final Fantasy VII's never been one. Because like, you know, it is kind of weird. Because like Final Fantasy VIII has its remastered edition. You know, that's on like Switch and PS4 and everything else. That has like new character models. Chrono Cross has a remaster that started out as a disaster, but is actually really good now unless you buy it on PC. And it's like, it's weird that like freaking Chrono Cross of all games has redone character models and 60 FPS in combat. And Final Fantasy VII, it still has 15 FPS combat and the PS1 character models. Yeah, there was a patch like maybe it's been a little while now. It's been over a year for sure. But there was a patch that they released that like it fixed everything. It even fixed bugs from the PS1 version. Like I think it's called Pip, the little monster that you can raise, but it was completely useless in the PS1 original because the memory card thing fails to save its stat increases and evolution levels properly. They fixed that so you can actually raise Pip properly and use it as a party member in the remaster. Okay, I got my water tumbler. Everybody take a sip of your non-carbonated, sugar-free drink of choice. Or non-caffeinated. If it's carbonated, that's fine. You can have your bubbly. But yeah, Radical Dreamers Edition, if you get it on console, is really good now. Start up my Switch copy soon, yeah. Because, I mean, I love, gosh, it's like, hey, thanks that, no problem. No, it's crazy because, like, I think it's not as steady on the Switch version, I think, but I'm pretty sure the Switch version does have, like, 60 FPS now. At least in combat. It might still be 30 FPS on the field. Because, no, a friend of mine had a joke that, like, the premier place to play classic PlayStation games is on the Nintendo Switch. Gonna take off for the night and go do a sleep. Everybody have a good night. Good night, Rain. You have a wonderful sleep. Rest, take it easy. I hope your sleep is super comfy and super warm, and your pillow is really nice and cool. Strapirer? Oh, he freaking strapeared. Okay, everybody move to the front row. Back attacks are so freaking annoying. I mean, I love Final Fantasy VII as is. We all know a strapper. I mean... Dark Spark, level halved. Heck you, buddy. Oh, hey, never mind. Unheck you. It was an enemy skill. Let's save. World mop. So I have Bart's still equipped with the Blue Mage learning. So I don't... Hopefully you don't miss an enemy skill. Because I actually got Aqua Breath from the Manticore fight. Use Boobles to surround an enemy and damage all enemies. Dark Spark. Shelf Destruct. You. Devilfish from the Devil May Fish series. Oh, random thing from an hour ago that I just remembered that I never mentioned. The modern ports of Lunar 1 and 2 do not have completely revised scripts. They're partially revised, and all of the like anime scenes are revised because they're newly voice acted. But a lot of the incidental dialogue, part of it is sadly from Working Design's original. Though a lot of that, you know, like they took out the parts with all like the slurs and the misogyny and stuff. But sadly, it still does have a lot of Working Designs in there. Thankfully, at the very least, though, all of the gameplay changes they made for the North American version are not there. Learned Yump. So, like, am I the only one who... Sometimes when I play Final Fantasy VI, I'll give Mog the Dragoon Gauntlet so he can use Jump and, like, complete his whole Dragoon Dancer job class thing. Nope, I do the exact same thing. Okay, it's not just me. Though, honestly, I always thought it was really freaking cool that the cute, funny Moogle was the one who had, like, the Dragoon equipment. Because, like, as much as I like the Final Fantasy VII Remake games, it does make me a little sad that there's not, like, a Final Fantasy VII Remastered. That's what I originally hoped Ever Crisis was going to be. But it's really not that at all. Because, like, what I have in my head for a Final Fantasy VII Remastered would kind of just be like... Oh, dude, here's the freaking best music of all time. Okay, putting everything on hold. Permission to rock out granted. Gotta dance. I'm sorry, this is like one of my single favorite pieces of music in anything. Cause like, you know that that one meme gif, whatever, of like the dude in the fancy like Mozart outfit playing piano on the beach and the piano is on fire? That was Nobuo Uematsu when he was composing this. You're hearing the Black Mages version of the first. Yes, oh my god.
From here on, it's monsters all the way. Stay on your toes.
Little chariot. His little chariot is a little. I just noticed these are knights on segways. He's like, they knew this track was fire because it doesn't interrupt it for the victory theme. It's absolutely unserious enemy design. I know, it's so great. Because, I mean, like, yeah, Exdeath's army, and it's like freaking 4-foot-tall knights on segways and cats with, like, wearable wingsuit. That is just... Mustard bomb? Listen, I said no mustard on my burger. Antidote. Because honestly, like, the dedication to the unserious enemy designs, as dark, no matter how dark and serious the Final Fantasy series can get, is one of my all-time favorite things. Because I love the fact that, like, because I haven't played super deep into it, because, like, I really want to be able to, like, sink in and dedicate time to it. But, like, with Rebirth and, you know, with Remake, which I've finished Remake on PS4, with Rebirth and Remake, I love that even with the more realistic art style, the enemies are just ripped straight from their character design sheets from the PS1 game. Like freaking hedgehog pies, and, you know, like being in this, like, grungy cyberpunk-esque city, and there's just freaking wind drakes hanging out, you know, that you fight for, like, a mission. Or the fact that, like, the Shinra, like, mecha soldiers with the freaking propeller on their heads are just still a thing. You know, it hasn't... Oh, I know, and I'm so looking forward to it, too. Because, like I said, you know, just, like, the batshit insane enemy designs from the original 7 just being completely left intact. It's, like... I love the fact that in Resident Evil 2 Remake, the freaking giant zombie crocodile, despite the Resident Evil remakes being much more grounded than the PS1 version, giant zombie crocodile is still there. It just, yes. You know, like, keep that crazy shit from old games when you're remaking them. I feel like that is massively important. Because I remember one of the most inspiring things as, like, a writer and storyteller for me and like when it comes to world building, was that Xenogears, there were two, like, well, there were a lot of things in Xenogears. It's like, I love they didn't just commit to Hell House and Remake, they doubled down on it. Yeah, that was such a cool surprise, because I actually thought Hell House was going to get left out. Because you don't fight it in the usual spot where you can fight it in the original game. So I'm like, okay, I guess I can understand why they didn't put Hell House in. It's like, oh no, that was a nice surprise. But with Xenogears, like, it was a world where there was, like, this advanced technology and what was basically, like, Gundam mech suits and stuff like that. But it was also a world where, you know, Fei Fong Wong could master martial arts and, you know, turn his chi into, like, magical energy balls. This was a world where there were goblins and, you know, like, dragons and stuff like that. And, you know, but it was, and one of the things I remember seeing that, like, stuck with me for, you know, with a lot of my storytelling ideas and stuff, it was just a minor thing, but said friend's older brother was just playing Xenogears while me and the friend were hanging out playing, like, some Pokemon cards. And he was backtracking through an old area where you can fight, like, those kind of, like, janky mechs. They're, like, the first random battle enemy mechs you can fight. And you can still fight giant enemies in human form if you want to in Xenogears. Without having to call your gear. It's not recommended. But the thing is, like, he was so over-leveled going back through this area, he just did a regular combo. And so this image of Faye jumping up and just beating the crap out of a giant mech with his bare hands was always just one of the coolest things to me. Because I remember, like, one of my favorite fights in Final Fantasy 13 is when your characters just fight a fucking armed helicopter and win. Need to give Xenogears another try. Absolutely do. I know this may be hard to... Okay. I don't know how much Xenoblade you've played, but as weird as this may sound, Xenogears will make a lot more sense if you've played Xenoblade, at least a little bit, because a lot of the ideas, even though they're done in different ways, a lot of the ideas in Xenogears that may not have come through in the 90s, once you see them more refined in the Xenoblade games or in Xenosaga, and you go back to Gears, you kind of start to realize what they were going for. Because in the context of a lot of PS1 RPGs, I understand why you wouldn't be able to get into Xenogears, but like I said, I'm not really a fan of... I've mentioned this before, I'm not a fan of saying games have or haven't aged this or that way, or that, you know, something was ahead of its time kind of thing. I mean, you can absolutely play Xenogears first. I'm just saying, like, if you had... Because, like, I know Xenoblade's exponentially more popular than Gears ever was. But I mean, like, Xenogears is still available for, like, $10 on PlayStation Network. For PS3. I hope... I mean, honestly, I want Xenogears to get the same treatment as, like, Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy VIII did. But I would 100% be just fine with... Here's the PS1 version slapped onto Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. And Steam. Like, either way is fine. My thing is, like, I know a lot of people have said to, like, redo Xenogears, because there are some parts, especially near the end of the game, where you can tell they definitely ran out of time and money. And couldn't quite see everything through to the way that they had envisioned. And a lot of people saying, oh no, you know, remake it and redo all the parts where they couldn't do everything. And my thing is, like, I would only want that to happen... Even I know about Disc 2. Okay, I was trying to be a little bit evasive to not be too spoilery, but yeah. I'm mostly referring to Disc 2. But no, like... If they were going to redo it and redo Disc 2, I would only want it to be in the context that, like, Tetsuya Takahashi and anyone still left at Monolith who worked on the original would also be involved. Because I don't want any other random outside source trying to extrapolate what they maybe kind of wanted to do. Because I feel like if you do that, it's not Xenogears anymore. And actually thinking about that is kind of why I feel like some of the stuff in like Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions or the DS versions of Chrono Trigger rubbed me the wrong way. Especially like the post-game stuff in the DS version of Chrono Trigger, which is just a bunch of meaningless fetch quests that don't add anything, which like Chrono Trigger as a game specifically avoided doing meaningless padding like that. And I think someone randomly coming in and just adding stuff to a game that they had no original say in, it's like trying to draw eyebrows on the Mona Lisa. It doesn't matter if you think it helped or added more to it. It wasn't there originally. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to go into a rant. Back to the bridge.
Ha ha! Guess who's been waiting behind the door this whole time? Yes! It's me.
Oh, the new plot stuff doesn't bother me. It's more how the gameplay aspects are handled. Because I actually do like the stuff they added that ties it into Chrono Cross.
Took you long enough, too. I was just getting worried you might have gotten lost. Anyway, it's go time!
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have been more specific. I was more talking about a lot of the gameplay stuff that got added on. Though with Xenogears, I really wouldn't want anyone to add any more story stuff aside from the original people either. Era? I didn't hate the Dimensional Vortex, but Lost Sanctum was the worst. Well, I mean, like, that's why the, a 20-foot-tall man was worried about us twirls hair. That's why I wasn't really heartbroken about the Pixel remasters not having, like, the GBA content for Final Fantasy. Because, like, I do not think that more content automatically equals better.
Suppose I misjudged. Fighting all four of you is just too tough for me. No, I lied! Ha! Do I look like a rug?
Wait, shit, is de-spell a thing in this game? Hey, bouncing on it's my job, buddy. Slow down. Ack! Electro cute. He said I'm cute. I mean, he's right, but... Personally, I think 5 and 6, to a lesser extent, are really the only ones where the GBA postgame stuff felt more like an afterthought. 4 is in such a weird spot, because I feel like it's endemic to 4's design not to really give you choices in party members. Because 4 doesn't really have any customization at all in the original releases. Like, really, the only thing you can do to customize your party in the original version of 4 is grind if you want to level up some more. So it's like suddenly giving you the late game option to customize with any party members is neat, but I'm always like of two minds about it because I like the option. You bitch. You know, I like the option, but it I'm not even quite sure how to describe it. It's neat, but not quite necessary, yeah. Because really, when it comes down to it, I feel like the best end-game party really does end up being, like, the 5 that you get by default anyway. And also, this definitely isn't a modern issue at all, because this has been a thing since, like, at least the Super NES era, but the constant, like, obsession with every game having more and more and more content, I feel like is what's led us to, like, the AAA Uber bloat that's got the industry falling apart at the seams.
Oh, goodness gracious. I just remembered something. See ya. I must take my leave. Till we meet again, count on it.
Okay, let's recharge the homies. Actually, let's use my million potions. As far as I remember, the only ones that really keep up the main party, the GBA version of the twins. Yeah. There's not a few people who had, like, I think, I can't remember which one's Palom and which one's Porum. But the one with, like, the black magic had in the place of, I think, Edge. They're gonna have more like of a magic-centric party for endgame. Porum's the black mage. Honestly, fictional or not, anybody who names a pair of twins really similar names, what's wrong with you? Water Skull. Yeah, Garula and Meow. Meow. Go back to Kitty because she's kind of pretty. Get hosed. Went to school with twins that had names that were literally the same. Parents, don't do that to their kid. Don't do that to your kids. Then again, I feel like it's like a get out of jail free card when they can't tell your kids apart. You know, if their name's like Kelly and Kelsey. Like, hey, Kel, get over here. I feel like that fucks with the kids' brains, though, too. It's like, you're already having little bits of issues with your identity from having another human being that's borderline identical to you. So also having a similar name, it feels like a little bit more of your own identity starts trickling away. But then again, I don't know, I've never really had siblings, so maybe it's a different thing. Maybe it makes them feel closer.
Creel.
Grandpa, the barrier, look out! One had glasses, so they're easy to tell apart. Okay. Whoa. Grandpa! Grandpa! Usually are easy to tell apart. A lot of times they'll end up with very different personalities. At least from my personal experience. Well, it's to tell me the story of coming across two baby twins named Lemon Jello and Orange Jello. Any idea where this is?
Yeah, this has got to be Glosiana. Back of beyond. Crawling with monsters, too. Figures we'd be thrown to some place like this.
It's got points for creativity, I think.
Galuf, I'm sorry about all this. I mean, we came to help you, but you ended up helping us. As usual. I mean it, you know. You really didn't have to come. Meddlesome bums, the lot of you. Still, glad to see you again.
I was pretty close with my brother. A lot of people thought we were twins. We were 4 years apart. It's definitely a new one. The names were pronounced Lamangelo and Orangelo. Well, we're just getting blown all over the place in the new world, huh? We got Devourer and Tunneler. Wow. Well, of course the jellyfish should absorb electricity. I should have learned that from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's like basic Mako Tsunami. Discord. That's what happens when you're in the new Twunkin town. I need to mention that I made Robbie and Mizuki in The Sims so I can create their house to my comic without me telling them. They started woohooing. This is a sign that I should just bite the bullet and make them canonically a couple. I mean, you can ask Maddie with some of the stuff I've been telling them about my stories. Sometimes the characters will just come out and tell you what they're supposed to be doing. Or who they're supposed to be. And like, or if you're getting something wrong, they'll just come up and like tell me sometimes. They'll be like, hey, that's not me at all. I think they are trying to send you a sign. But hey, it's your world and your characters. Like I've said before, draw your truth. Honestly, I've been telling you to put them as a couple in story purposes. I always say no. They've taken on a mind of their own now. Time for nappy. Nap, nap, nap. God damn these homosexuals. But they're your homosexuals. Ooh, beachfront property. Look at the pretty water sparkles in the battle background. I love that. They're on my list of homosexuals. I mean, that list is most of the people you know, at least online. Yeah. Mandate. Covered in gummy liquid. Bro, I just got here. At least buy me a drink. Ten arms. That's wild. Get punched. Town. Wriggle.
This is the frontier town of Rigol.
Magic shop. Yeah. Let's go ahead and buy some Asina. Oh, I already have it. Let's go ahead and buy Blink and Shell then. What we got here? Drain, Break, and Bio. That's where my pronouns were. Break. Drain. Comet. No Cupid. Sloga. Return. Ooh, that one increases damage based on your friendship. Gotta buy every spell. He runs the weapons store. Ori Calcum Dirk. Orwhammer. Asura. Sleep Blade. Sword that can sometimes put enemies to sleep. Can be used two-handed. Wind Spear. Ooh, doubles the power jump. Okay, let's go ahead and grab a Wind Spear. Dark Bow. Team Harp. Chain Whip. I got one of those. Go ahead and get a Dream Harp. Let's go ahead and grab a Sleep Blade. Why not? Go ahead and grab a Horwhammer. And an Ori Calcum Dirk. I'm going to give you the Wind Spear. Well, even mages, even mages can wield. That's a little derogatory. Even mages could use it. He runs the armor store. Golden shield. I have one equipped. Oh, okay, I see. Golden helm. Helmet decorated with gold filigree? We're looking up a new word. We're expanding our diction today, you guys. Filigree, ornamental work of fine, typically gold or silver wire formed into delicate tracery.
Filigree.
It's our vocabulary word for the day, you guys. Filigree. Jordy, like a filigree, burn my dread, na 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 na, every day. It's gotten by a wizard's hat. Filigree's what? Nodding. Well, it's gotten by a Gaia gear. A little bit of this Gaia, some legend of Legaia, a little star ocean and breath of fire. Sure, why not? Let's buy another gold helm. And a gold shield. I like being bankrupt. The little sibling urge to just take in information without questioning it. Optimize. Woo. Optimize.
Optimize.
Give her her elven mantle back, please. I mean, hey, I'm always happy to learn new words.
Is it true that Exdeath has returned? Better not get too close to that castle down south. I heard Exdeath has returned, but he'd never bother with an out-of-way podunk town like us.
Uh-huh. I really did see a Moogle, really, truly. That big fat liar says he saw a Moogle. He's a liar, liar, pants on fire.
The town's the best brew in the whole world. You should try a glass.
The castle to the south is sealed Castle of Kuza. The weapons used in the legendary war 1,000 years ago are sealed away in there. Cube.
Ever heard of Cornago Gourd? It helps you catch monsters, slick as a whistle. Ain't no dancers in this tiny one-horse town, but how about you dance for us? This stuff's great. It doesn't burn, it shines.
Sage gotta dance. Oh, hell yeah.
Eh, not too shabby.
Yo. Wait, we just got the equivalent of dancing on stage and got $1 shoved down our shorts. Uh-oh. Somebody come get her.
Such a rich and full-bodied flavor. How about some of Ragol's famed brew?
Wait, that's right. I think actually everybody in this party is canonically old enough to drink. I'm not used to that in an RPG. You know, as much as it's the prototypical stereotype of what people think of as an RPG, in general, I feel like Final Fantasy is actually pretty good about most of its characters being adults.
Cottage.
Goliath tonic, power drink, speed shake. No, oh, that's right. Shit, I'm running out of money. I'm still gonna buy some more speed shakes. Iron draft, hero cocktail. I'd agree there. Holy water. You know, if they're giving these out to buy, we're probably gonna need them, so let's get some holy waters. Hi, potion. Ugh, Phoenix Downs. I forgot this is one of the games where Phoenix Downs are expensive. I'm one of those people who just does not like selling off old equipment, so I guess we're just gonna beat up monsters until we have money again. Shimmy shake, shimmy shake, shimmy shake, shake. The Brie Roasters? Brie Roastries? Man, dyslexia makes some of these enemy names hard. The Broastries? Hey, Broastry, what's up, dude? The Boros Aggro? So if you were to touch one of these things, do you think they'd be like slimy or like fishy? Because the monocolor on them makes me feel like they'd be covered in like a thin layer of slime. A castle. This must be the Kuza castle they were talking about in town. Sealed castle, first floor. Ooh. Am I in trouble? Not silly. Joke's on you. I was already silly. Oh, this place. Uh-oh. That was a response. You know, I feel like I should have brought some magic attacks if I'm gonna fight this thing. Realize now that my whole party is like all physical attackers. In a bad way. Zombie bracelet, uh-oh. Become the living dead. Oh great, now we're gonna rage in the cage or whatever. I think things are going well. Can you not unconfusion a zombie? I think it's time to go. Maybe. Shit, I didn't rearrange my items. The holy water's gonna be all... Yep, okay. Distinct memory of playing this in like 2011 or 2012 and farming AP in the basement. One of them wearing Crescent Moon samurai armor? Yeah, samurai is one of the job classes. Is that a Date Masamune reference? Probably. Considering Masamune's long history of being a sword that's referenced in Final Fantasy. Okay, I need to mage somebody so we have some magical offense in here. So I think right now Ferris is a white mage with equipped shield. Maybe I'll turn her into a black mage and have white magic as her secondary. I know he's supposed to hate samurai in the current narrative, but Masamune was such a diva. He cared about the fashion so much that he made his troops wear the dumbest outfits. I can respect that, honestly. I mean, you can hate samurai in the concept of the ruling class. That doesn't mean you need to hate the actual historical individuals. I mean, you can like them and kind of fictionalize them a little bit. They're dead. It's not like they're gonna freaking sue you for slander or whatever. I mean, if we can still have games like Sengoku Basara and freaking, you know, Muso and all that stuff, I think liking your cunty samurai who's been dead for centuries is fine. Yeah. White. Now, some of them are just stupid and funny. Some of them are kind of fruity too. I mean, it is kind of fun that there were like quite a few in that time, like they were fruity, but they also had such a position of power that nobody said anything about it. Then again, I feel like there have been a lot of periods in history where like nobody really cared that much if you were gay. They just know one dude and got all the special treatment and occasionally would disappear. Oh no, they were absolutely splorking the Dorcas. They were the bestest roommates. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to tell a warlord what he does. And in fact, that he does, in fact, not have that shit on. I like living. Exactly. Actually, the word warlords just, like, clicked something in my brain and made me realize I need to play Onimusha on stream at some point. I am actually very happy that Onimusha 1 and 2 are available on just literally every modern platform now. Let's get those Jean Reno likeness rights so we can get the whole main trilogy. Very orc. Okay, you know what? Fine, I'm not gonna judge. Thank you, Dawn of Dreams recently. I've owned Dawn of Dreams for several years and I haven't played it yet. I need to though. It looks rad as hell. I remember watching Avalanche's review of it.
and I'm just like totally picking up what it's putting down. Shit, how do I want to do this? I am indecisive right now. Really wish Optimum would leave the accessories alone. It's great. It's one of those games where the US release is balanced kind of poorly, though. Was it a US version released first kind of thing? Or is it a, we don't want you beating this game on a single rental kind of thing? Because that's another thing that's really good about a lot of the modern re-releases of old games, is they can kind of... Who's the beast? They can kind of rebalance them to whatever version, you know, was like the finalized version that maybe not every region got. The latter? Okay. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Okay, apparently that attack just doesn't miss, but the fact that it's doing the same damage every single time and it's not accounting for row has made me come to the conclusion that the amount of damage it's doing and the fact that it did 0 initially means that its attack does the amount of damage it's taken. So basically, if you want to beat the Kuza Beast, you have to one-shot it. Or, you know, just have your max HP be so high that the attacks still don't do that much. I guess magic just doesn't work on the Bureaustress that well. Transfusion. Like with Patara earrings? You know, as much as I adore Final Fantasy V and its versatility, my biggest thing that always gets me is these games give me choice paralysis so hard. It's like you are so free. That I always simultaneously feel like I'm either gonna go overboard and break the game accidentally, or I'm gonna accidentally make the most piss poor, like, character customization decisions to where the game becomes unfinishable.
Or maybe I'm just not abusing Blue Mage enough. Part of why I've never gotten far in Final Fantasy III. I mean, I haven't ever really gotten super far in it too, but I have such an overpowering nostalgia for the DS versions specifically, and Ark and Refia and Ingus and everybody, because I still vividly remember, like, I think it was Christmas of 2006. My mom got me, like, not a whole lot of gifts, but there was one gift that was like, I opened it. It was just like a big rectangular box. And I opened it, and it was like just a generic manila cardboard box. And I remember opening it up, and it was like full of the crunchy, fluffy stuff you like, so stuff doesn't move around when you're packing it. And inside there was a sealed copy of Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus and the DS version of Final Fantasy III. And I still remember being so excited. I pretty much spent the rest of the Christmas day just playing Final Fantasy III. Because my mom was a huge Metal Gear fan, and I liked it a lot too. And it was like kind of a game we played together a lot. Even with the single player ones, it's just like, she just loved watching the story and everything like that. Oh yeah, leveling up. Metal Gear Engine. Like, unfortunately, like, Metal Gear Solid 4 kind of dampened both of our obsession with the series a little bit. But I still love the first 3 Solid games and Rising. It's interesting because, like, I remember that, you know, when my mom found out Rising wasn't really as story-centric as the other ones and was more about the action, but she still liked the few story parts, like, because she didn't really end up watching me finish Rising. She ended up, because she originally bought it for herself. She pre-ordered it with her own money. Like, I didn't even go halvesies. She just pre-ordered Rising. But after watching me play it for a good 4 or 5 hours, she's like, this is a very you game. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, it's just very much your game. She was right, though. She's really fucking right. Save. Your mother knew. She really did. Metal Gear Rising is a game for queers and women. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Raiden fan. Metal Gear Solid 4 will have a place. I like the Raiden stuff in MGS4. It was for us. Ain't no way it's for straight cis men. I am highly in doubt that most of Kojima's games are for straight cis men, but the game is for people who are explorative. Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, but nobody who approves his art team designing a man's ass that gorgeously is 100% straight. I mean, there's an entire scene in Metal Gear Solid 4 where you're doing a quick time event while watching Raiden kick like 100 dudes' asses, and then the top half of the screen is Snake's ass, just like gyrating slowly through the frame. Make sure to make it look like a panty line is an actual developer note for Metal Gear Solid 2. Absolute perfection. Like I said, Metal Gear Solid 4, like, I guess here, you guys get another bonus rant tonight. You're all so lucky. Metal Gear Solid 4 is a game where
it is less than the sum of its parts. Because so many elements of Metal Gear Solid 4 are just amazing. Some of my favorite things in isolation. But when you put them together, you end up with fucking pepperoni and chocolate sauce and cucumber salad. Not to mention, it's also one of the many victims of the PS3 360 piss filter. How do we deal with this motherfucker? Fucking stop. I can't 100. Yeah, like, I appreciate all the experimentation. Like, they had ideas and they were going for it. But, like, I think a lot of my issues are the story. Because it's telling that, like, 4 is the only... Okay. Context. I have never played Metal Gear Solid 5 aside from playing maybe half an hour of Ground Zeroes. Shit. It unstopped itself. Run. Guys, remember when I said run? You say run. One person listened. Thank you. What I've been told, Konami shut down damn near all internal game development at the time to go all hands on deck to finish it. It's like, I don't really have much interest in playing Metal Gear Solid 5. If you're talking about 4, because I'm not sure if you're talking about 4 or 5, I'm sorry. But, like, with 5, it just doesn't really have many or any elements that I really like about Metal Gear. And both 4 and 5... Oh, yeah, I meant 4. It's all good. Because I think I remember hearing something about that in, like, pre-release stuff. I'm biased because I do have a blind love for MGS. There's nothing wrong with that. See if we can kill this thing before it unstops. But it's like, my issues are largely with storytelling decisions for 4 and 5. Because I actually like Peace Walker, at least from a story perspective, a lot more than 4 or 5. But pretty much everything cool and... We did it! Hell yeah! The stop worked. 1,000 gil, 250 XP, 3 ability points. Hell yeah! Okay, let's save after that. I can't believe I actually tried using a time magic spell on an enemy in Final Fantasy and it actually worked. Honestly, I wonder if the reason why I had so much trouble finishing these games sometimes as a kid is because, like, status moves and stuff would never work on bosses, so I just never thought to use them again, and everything was just damage maxing or healing. And occasionally feeling really smart the few times I remember to cast haste on myself. For MGS 5, it's hard to criticize it considering the landscape it was in. I don't think I can call Metal Gear Solid 5 a bad game. It's just not a game for me. It's hard to know if it's 100% Kojima's decision. Yeah, I feel like he got strong-armed on a lot of stuff. Which is how I rolled through most RPGs. Because honestly, like, Persona 4 was like my wake-up call RPG, where I realized I can't just get away with, you know, just spamming damage and heals forever. Starting my first Persona game, I have no idea what to expect. Ooh, which one are you starting? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to semi-spoil anything. 4? Hell yeah. Well, no, it's like, it's not super bad. I'm just saying you have to remember to, like, boost your character's attacks, debuff enemies. I'm just saying, like, buffs and debuffs make the game a whole lot more doable. It's not super crazy hard once you realize that. Fucking ow. Whew. Sorry, Barts. Wise from your grave. Only Atlas RPG I've ever played is Radiant Historia. Sounds like the parry function in Metal Gear Rising. That's one of those things that took me so long to learn, but it is so freaking satisfying. Also, I don't know what you would call, like, the physical version of a verbal tick. But, like, I guess that'd just be called a tick, wouldn't it? But, like, I don't even know if that's what you'd call this, but the way when you, defeat one of the robots that, like, Raiden will just rip out the, electric spine, and just, like, crush it in his hand and absorb the liquid is so freaking badass. Like, let's say I'm crumpling up a piece of paper. I will, freaking just grab it in front of my face and crush it in that exact same way before throwing it in the trash. So satisfying, yes. Poor job explaining it. Game's 50... Oh, yeah. No, like, the parry's so hard to learn, but it makes the game so freaking fun. It's fun because it's really different from parries in a lot of other action games at the time. Oh, that's so much. You know what? Shit, guys. Let's just stream Metal Gear Rising. No, actually, I don't have it on Steam. I only have it on PS3. The original PS3 copy my mom pre-ordered. That also just randomly made me really sad thinking about something. Another game my mom pre-ordered for herself was Dishonored for PS3. And she really enjoyed it. Even though, like, one of the things, like, we kind of co-played it together. One of my biggest complaints is that the coolest and most fun stuff is locked behind doing the evil bad things. So if you actually play the game to get the good ending and use stealth, you don't get to use, like, 60% of the game's tools. Actually, I'd say more like 80% of the game's tools. So the actual best playstyle is to not engage with the game's gameplay. But I mean, like, it's still a pretty cool game even so. It has Blink, which is one of my favorite abilities in a game. But, and my mom, like, pre-ordered, we played through Dishonored, and we got, like, the good ending. And maybe, like, 3 or 4 years before her health started taking a turn, I actually got her Dishonored 2 for PS4 as a gift, and we never got around to playing it. And I was, like, going through my game collection, like, just rearranging and reorganizing a few things. Because, like, a lot of times, like, I have my shelf in my old bedroom, which is kind of like a storage room now. That has, like, my games and stuff. And, like, the games I'm not playing, I leave in there. And the ones I am working on are, like, in the shelf in my living room by the TV. and I was rearranging stuff, and I came across Dishonored 2, and I'm just like, oh yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn that into sad mode. I'm reminded of that shitty quality gameplay video I posted on YouTube. Some good jokes in that video. You're not gonna link the video? Sorry for that. Oh, no, don't feel sorry. Don't feel sorry. You can't help my brain going to places. That's just the curse of the ADHD brain, is like you chain link things you think about together until you're like 7 units away from, like 7 or 10 units away from the original conversation. Do you really want to hear 16-year-old Gironuka being nerdy about Raiden? A little bit. Also, weird random thing with Metal Gear Rising is the PS3 version had like a bunch of... It was a weird thing I think that happened a lot in that era. Like the PS3 version just had VR missions that just aren't in the PC and 360 version. They're not particularly fantastic or anything, but it's just like... It's like how the PS3 version of, I think, Arkham Asylum or something had special bonus room content with Harley Quinn or Joker. I mean, they weren't all that worth it, so you're not missing much. I know. I know what I'm saying. It's just like there are a lot of games from the PS3 and 360 era. I guess since PlayStation and Xbox were like so neck and neck trying to go for each other's throats, that like they were paying off companies to be like, yo, hey, add some extra content to our game. But the extra content was always like either super inconsequential or overwhelmingly mid. It's like, there was like this one thing I think was advertised on the PlayStation version of Watch Dogs was like 60 minutes of additional content. And I'm like, what kind of content? The Watch Dogs is one of those games where like... memory hold that entire trend. No, there was that, and then there was that ultra shitty thing around the same time where games would have like an online pass. So where if you got it used but you wanted to play the online, you had to like pay $10 to download the online pass from like the PlayStation Store or Xbox Store. Additional. Also, this is before the Japanese game company really honed in on PC gaming. Yeah. Now it's weird for anything not to get a PC version. Online passes, that sucked so much ass. Like, I didn't even play games online back then. I mean, I really don't now, unless it's like trading Pokemon with a friend or Mario Kart or something. But like, no, that was like, especially because you still had to pay for Xbox Live even with the 360. So if you were a 360 player, and you got a used game, you had to buy the online pass and still pay to play online. Well, I'll be customers. That's a sight for sore eyes. Tonight's on the house. Eepy sleepies. You're doing it even for single player games. I know. So crappy. Huh? Where'd Galuf go? Ah, now that's the stuff. Finally, a chance to try the famed Dragol brew. Kinda burns a path down your throat. Oh, Bots, what's up? Couldn't sleep. Come on, pull up a chair. Galuf. I'm sorry. If we hadn't butted in, you'd be able to get into Exet's castle. Nah, even if we had gotten in, the barrier would have destroyed us. I hadn't the slightest inkling it had been finished. In fact, it's only thanks to you that we weren't all crushed. Galuf. Bots. You knew that once you came here, you could never return. So why'd you do it? No particular reason. Bots. Hey, don't worry about it. Oh, okay, Guru, what is your wait wedding? You mean about, like, having to pay for the online pass and still have to pay for Xbox Live? Yeah, it's like, there's a lot of anti-consumer bullshit with modern games, though a lot of it's petering out, interestingly. But yeah, like, no, the anti-consumer bullshit, some of it was arguably a lot worse in the PlayStation 3 and 360 days, especially near the end of that generation. Because a lot of the worst things like microtransactions in single-player games and shit like that were a part, like, they started near the tail end of the Xbox 360 PS3 generation. Which is why I always get confused when I see people online who are like, I guess just turning 20, or people like 24, 25, you know, who are like, oh man, I wish gaming could go back to being good and, you know, like in the PS3 and 360 game days where you could just buy a complete game and there weren't microtransactions. Like, what are you talking about? The PS3 and 360 days is when Call of Duty was charging, you know, $15 for map packs and shit. You know, it's like, this is the era that gave us horse armor. I'm assuming they were young and not actually buying the games themselves. Probably. In their defense, by the time we were able to play those games, they were already completed. That's another factor, too. Especially because, like, I guess... I mean, it's probably not a secret. I'm definitely, you know, heading toward the tail end of my 30s here. I was already an adult for almost all of that generation. So, for me... you know, like, I was seeing all this stuff happening in real time. Like you said, there are probably a lot of times when they got a game used at GameStop for, like, $10, and like you said, they just did all the updates and didn't think about it. The game was already complete, or, you know, they got one of those Game of the Year editions that had the most up-to-date versions on disc. Like, for the Devil May Cry games, by the time I was able to comprehend DMC, the HD collections were already out. Oh, for people who've only played the HD collection remasters of Devil May Cry trilogy, here's a really fun fact. The original Devil May Cry 1 has a very unusual control scheme. Because, you know, obviously Devil May Cry now, like, I'm gonna use PlayStation to kind of, like, give you the vibe so you don't get so nobody gets confused. But, you know, you'd have jump on X, your gun on square, swords on triangle, and then circle is usually your special ability, you know, like your you know, class ability or whatever, if you're doing or your style ability, I should say, you know, like in 3 or whatever, or, you know, Nero's arm in 4. Right, but in Devil May Cry 1 on PS2, specifically the original PS2 version, square and X are both gun. Circle is the sword attack, and jump is on triangle.
Ooh, we can equip counter. That's awesome. Oof. Dude, it is, like, I love the game, and I like playing it on PS2 just because, like, I know I obviously use emulators a lot in my streams just out of necessity because I don't have a capture card right now. But I'm very much play it on the original hardware. Oh yeah, they changed it in the HD collection. But I'm a very much like, I love to play stuff on original hardware when I can, just because I like the whole experience. You know, not just because, oh, you know, it was made for this hardware, but also like putting the disc in, using an original controller, or even having like silly stuff like, you know, like I've got some like off-brand Mad Catz PS2 controllers. Like sometimes I'll you know, hook my PS2 up to a CRT TV, put in Shadow the Hedgehog, and get my all black and red Mad Catz controller just for the vibes. I'm part of the generation who looks at the PS3 with rose-tinted glasses. I know Gen Z missed the experimental time. Same. That said, it's pretty hilarious control scheme to go back to. It's like, well, I mean, to be fair, it was one of the first character action games of that style, if not the very first one. I know there are a few in the PS1 era that are kind of like proto character action, like that one game from Core Design that I think is just called like Ninja. But yeah, it's like, I understand having, like, I have rose-tinted nostalgia for a lot of 90s and early 2000s stuff. You remember we might be we need to remember we might be experiencing the awkward phase for gaming, yeah. Well, no, like, I really look at the PS3 360 generation retrospectively as kind of an awkward teenage generation. Because, like, Japan lost almost all of its standard middleware, because I think the company shut down, and renderware, like, they lost renderware, and they lost, like, I think there's a different version of it that came back, but I think it was Autoscale or Deskform, one of those. And, you know, obviously with, like, HD development, it's just more costly. And I know a lot of Japanese game companies would make proprietary engines and largely make new engines for each new game that they worked on, and that's just not doable for HD development. Which is why, like, we're having this kind of second renaissance of Japanese games from like 2017 onward, because, you know, the Japanese developers kind of got everything locked down after the awkwardness of the 360, PS3, and the early PS4 generation, and now they're firing on all cylinders with just non-stop amazing releases. Heard from Japanese programmers, they said the biggest change is all the coding was switched to the English alphabet instead of Japanese. Oh, that makes a lot of sense too. Renderware was one of those load-bearing industry pillars, absolutely. Yeah, I can see that definitely being an issue. It'd probably be a big issue for, like, Korean and a lot of developers in, like, the Middle East as well, I would imagine. Because, you know, I was actually thinking about it the other day, is that, like, keyboards for computers were originally largely developed in America and an English-speaking country. And I always wonder how keyboards would have been different if it had been originally designed in, like, Japan or Korea or, you know, like an Arabic-speaking country. I don't know how true it is, but around 2012, when they made that change, which was around the time Japanese games looked awkward. Well, that and, like, a lot of Japanese games, due to trends in Japan and the issues with HD development, kind of migrated to be largely on DS, PSP, and Wii. Because I know that was, like, the big time when everything really started moving to being centered around handhelds in Japan. Which is basically why Monster Hunter had, like, 2 entries on PS2, and then was pretty much exclusively on either PSP or 3DS until World came out. Oh yeah, random fact speaking about Monster Hunter, a couple weeks ago they just randomly shadow dropped the first 2 Monster Hunter Stories games on Xbox One. They're $30 each or $60 for a bundle. As someone who very much enjoys playing my 3DS games on Xbox One, I might grab them. Though I actually do have a 3DS copy of Monster Hunter Stories, though I only played it a little. It does get a personal like gold star from me just because I'm very biased in the fact that I love any 3DS game that lets me use the C stick on the new Nintendo 3DS, which Monster Hunter Stories does. But yeah, like, fun random fact, I did not own a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 until 2011. I was just playing PS2, DS, Wii, and PSP because even though there were RPGs on the 360 that I wanted, and by that time there was stuff on PS3 and Tales of Exilia had already been announced. So, you know, like, it was starting to ramp up to things I really wanted to play. But that generation was just so drawn out and rough. Because, like, with the PlayStation 3, honestly, it was like 3 different systems over the course of its life. Because at the beginning, it was like trying really hard to be this edgy, cool, gritty Western console. You know, with the freaking Spider-Man font and all that shit and all the edgy shooter games, like, you know, having Resistance Fall of Man in the launch lineup and all that. And then, like, more around the halfway point, like, probably starting 2009, 2010 when the Slim came out, it felt more like a traditional PlayStation console. Because that's also when all the RPGs started migrating from Xbox onto the PS3. You know, stuff like Star Ocean International, Eternal Sonata, if you're in Japan, Tales of Vesperia. And then, like, late life PlayStation 3 after the PS4 came out, it kind of became this niche, small budget game machine. Especially with a lot of Japanese games. Because there's so much stuff after the PS4 came out that was like Vita and PlayStation 3. Like, even the first 2 Trails of Cold Steel games came out on Vita and PlayStation 3, but not PS4. They eventually got PS4 ports later, but... It always saddens me because even though I wasn't super fond of a lot of the trends and ideas and stuff that were on the forefront of the PlayStation 3 and 360 era, I did like that all 3 consoles were really trying to throw their hat in the ring with something creative and interesting. Like, I feel like that was the last time when all 3 console brands were competing on the forefront of who can have the best games. Didn't get my PS3 till 2010. Played on my older sister's PS3 till then. I think that's when I got mine, since that's in the PS3. So yeah, the Slim is the one I have too. My message actually sent now. Sorry, maybe you had an internet delay there. I don't know, I was hanging out in Sir Seepin's chat earlier today, and one of my messages failed to send. It wasn't anything important, so I just skimmed over it. It was just a silly joke. But it did give me a message failed to send thing. My brother convinced me to get the PS3 Slim since his PS3 would overheat way too easy. Yeah, like, I'm super glad I skipped, because, like, my 360 is the, I think called the Elite model. Gotta get your message failed to send error. Yeah, I got that a few times in my friend's chat earlier today, so I think it's just Twitch being fucky. I don't think it's anything to do with you guys. One of the biggest turnoff for PS3 users, which was absent, was a lot of Nintendo consoles until Switch. Biggest turnoff for PS3 users, which was absent in a lot of Nintendo consoles. What, the overheating? Okay, I bought all that stuff. I need to check the armor. Okay, let's go and buy another golden helm for Galaf. Okay. But no, I kind of made a half joke about it before, but I feel like the main, like, PS2, PS3, early PS4 audience are pretty much largely people who play on Switch now. Because all the games that I personally associate buying a PlayStation for usually either come out as Switch exclusives or Switch is the lead platform. Don't know how much that's gonna hold up with the Switch 2 and stuff. Shit. You didn't stay stopped long enough. Shit. Time to go. Good thing you bought so many tents. It was a tense situation. Stop. There we go. Dong. So I got locked in trying to mash A as fast as possible. Oops, shit. I hit the wrong button. I am menuing too fast. You know, maybe I should just focus on grinding up to master job classes. So whenever we get to a boss fight, we can just do really cracked out freelancers. With like all the best equipment and whatever abilities we need to equip at the time. That, and if I can do grinding streams for this game, kind of like I do with Crystal, I can hopefully play it more. Because, like, okay, I mentioned this before, like, really early in the stream, but I feel like for me, I'm gonna finish all the stuff we've started, but after I get all that closed up, I think I need to, for my own well-being, probably focus on streaming one game at a time until I finish it. Maybe 2 games at a time. Because something I do try to do with my... pretty much going to be wrapping up the stream right now, by the way. Just doing my little, like, kind of ending chatting thing. But one thing I really tried to do on my own for a while was have like 2 main games, one of which would be like a shorter action game, and the other would be, because I would basically put it into 2 piles that I would call quest and action. And a quest game wouldn't always have to be an RPG, but it would be a bigger game with like more story focus and more goals. A lot of them were RPGs because that's my favorite genre, so I collect a lot of them. But, you know, it could also be games like Horizon Zero Dawn or Breath of the Wild and stuff that aren't necessarily RPGs, but they're really big with a lot to do. Where an action game would be something more like a Devil May Cry or a 2D platformer or a Metroidvania. You know, something you finish in like 7-8 hours or less. Where, like, usually the longevity comes from replayability. And, you know, I try to have, like, kind of 2 main games and try to focus on them until I, you know, kind of get to the end credits and then lose my train of thought in that sentence. Jeez Louise, okay. You know, get to the end credits and then kind of get whatever I want out of it for the moment. There aren't a whole lot of games that I've really 100%ed outside of, like, Mario and stuff. I've actually nearly 100%ed Pokemon Legends ZA, though, which kind of surprised me. It's been a lot of fun. I think because of the way the game, like, constantly loops between things to do, you know, like, kind of prioritizing side quests and, catching Pokemon in the daytime, where, like, at night, you know, it's all about the ZA Royale. You know, you never stay on one thing long enough for you to feel like you're ever stuck. And I think it makes it really easy to just sit down with the game for hours at a time. Oh no, is everybody stuck in messages won't send land? Help. Okay, I saw that help. It's sent. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, I got the Are You message. Oh. Murasaki Beans raided with a party of 5. Didn't send the PS3 Fires story. Testing. Oh, it went through. Yes, I can actually see you guys' messages now. Send this before you sign off. I remember back in the day, the overheating problem was really bad for some PS3s that actually caught on fire to the point my parents had low-key hesitating to buy it for their teenage kids since there were so many warnings. I remember hearing about that with the yellow light of death and everything. Also, welcome in, Murasaki Beans. My name is Micaiah, aka Mott's the Gaming Mouse. Thank you so much for showing up to raid. I was gonna end stream, but maybe we'll grind a little bit longer because everybody showed up. I apologize if your messages aren't sending. Twitch has seemed to have had a problem with that today. But if you guys need to raid and run, feel free to do so.
but I appreciate you dropping by nonetheless. We've been playing some Final Fantasy V. I'm not doing a special challenge run or anything. It's failing again. Well, I saw that part at least. But I'm not doing a special challenge run. We're just doing a normal playthrough of Final Fantasy V. I played most of the way through it back when it came out. This is... But I didn't actually finish it. So this playthrough, I'm going to be playing it all the way through. Hopefully mastering lots of job classes and everything. And again, I'm so sorry if everybody's messages aren't sending. Thank you so much for the follow, Murasaki Beans. Welcome to the Squeak Squad. But yeah, I'm Nikea, aka Mots the Gaming Mouse. Someday, sometime, I'm going to actually be a VTuber. For now, I'm just a voice over some video games. Yeah, like, I love retro JRPGs, platformers, Metroidvanias, and so much more. I have a whole bunch of game trivia rattling around in this mostly empty brain of mine. I appreciate you all coming by. I'm probably going to go ahead and... I know I said I wanted to do a little longer since I got the raid, but due to all the weird errors with chat, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Like I said, I appreciate the follow. I appreciate everybody from Murasaki Beans' channel coming in. Hopefully you guys can show up at a time when Twitch isn't breaking. But I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a big old good night because I don't know if you can actually say good night back. This goes through. I hope the playthrough continues to go well. I got that. Thank you so much, Murasaki. But yeah, I love Final Fantasy. I loved Final Fantasy V the first time I played through it. I just ADHD'd myself into another game and forgot what I was doing. Hey. Good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll be back with more Final Fantasy V in the next couple days. We've also been doing playthroughs with Pokemon Crystal, Parasite Eve. I like a lot of retro games and stuff from the 90s and early 2000s. Dark Cloud and Jack 1, which I haven't played in like a month, I'm so sorry. But we'll be getting to all of that, and I've got even more games planned, all kinds of cool classic stuff, and a few new games too. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by and hanging out. Let's all chat again when Twitch isn't breaking. Bye!